We focus on the heart of the GLP-1 community. Real people, real stories, and the fight for affordable access. By listening, you are supporting our advocacy efforts to make these life-changing medications accessible to everyone who needs them. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Welcome to the GLP-1 Collective.
Welcome to the GLP-1 Collective podcast. My name is Amanda Bonello, and this podcast supports a charitable nonprofit dedicated to advocating for affordable access to GLP-1 medications, normalizing their use through community-driven storytelling, and empowering individuals through support groups and educational tools. Visit glp1collective.org for more information. Today, we're interviewing Elizabeth Walker. She is a kind and gentle soul who has spent the majority of her life taking care of other people before herself. This is a very relatable story that I'm sure many of us can see ourselves in. I hope that you enjoy. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. I treasure you. And I just want to say, for the sake of anyone who's listening to this, that we met because I reached out on TikTok and was just like, hey, we're having a support group today. Feel free to join us, anyone. And you hopped in there and you were so friendly. And I've just treasured you ever since then. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. So I don't know really how this works, if you ask questions or we just like talk.
Both. We can just have a conversation, or I can ask questions, or you can tell me what you want to, if you want to give me a little background to start.
So I've always been overweight all my life. Dieting wasn't something new, but it is kind of something new, like calorie counting. Whenever I started this journey, I started up in May. My coworker had done a telehealth company and she loved it. She was on semaglutide, so I decided to do a telehealth and see how that was. You know, I knew that I was diabetic, but I was just in denial. So I did the telehealth. They didn't necessarily need labs or anything. I had gotten labs prior. And they were like, yeah, you're qualified for your BMI. They sent everything over to a pharmacy, sent it all to my house. I started it. I was on semaglutide. I did do it for a couple weeks and I did like it, but then I just kind of fell off and was like, okay, reverting to, my old eating habits. I still had all the food noise and stuff like that. I was always like, okay, maybe skinny people think they're not hungry, but in my mind, it was like, okay, what's our next meal? What are we going to eat? I started with the telehealth company and then I stopped for a few months and then I went to a doctor's appointment with my mom and I was like, hey, you have to start coming to the doctor because we know you have to get stuff under control. And so she goes up to the counter while I'm in the restroom and she's like, oh, I made you an appointment for tomorrow. They're going to see you tomorrow. And I was like, I hate coming to doctors. I don't like doing it. And so she's like, well, you have an appointment tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So then I went to the appointment and I was like, hey, just to preface this, I hate coming to doctors. I haven't been coming for years. I've had a history of diabetes, hypertension. I guess it's time for labs because I'm making my mom come to the doctor. And she said, if I have to, you have to, basically. We got my labs back. My A1C was almost 13, which is really bad. She said, okay, we're going to start on Mounjaro. We'll do 2.5 milligrams and see how you do. So I wasn't thinking anything of it. And I was just like, okay, we're going to try this out. I had started a week prior, calorie count, exercise, go to the gym, because I had a membership since May that I wasn't going to and I was paying for. So I started doing that. I was going basically 5 days a week or 7 days a week then. And then I kind of started dropping the weight. And so I just loved it ever since. And then a month into Mounjaro, my insurance was like, okay, we're not going to pay for your 2.5 anymore. You have to go up a dose. And then I called my provider and I was like, hey, they're wanting me to go up a dose or go on the other doses. And she's like, okay, we'll try it out. So she sent it over. So then I had to get the PA. So I was waiting for the PA and it takes sometimes a week or more. A little anxiety in between because I'm like, this has been life-changing for me. I didn't realize it until I started taking Mounjaro, but other people say the opposite. Semaglutide is better for them. And I think people just need to try it out instead of being like, okay, I want this brand or the other brand. branded versus compound because we're getting at the same place. If it works for them, it works for them. I did go up to 5 milligrams. I'm on 5 milligrams. I'm on my 19th week today. It's my actual shot day. So we're going to be taking my shot. So we're going to be doing that. A little excited. I usually take mine at night. I didn't start getting side effects until January. It's been good to me ever since. It's gotten my A1C down to 6.8. So that's a big difference. TikTok, I wasn't really posting a lot. I was kind of scared to post because of my job being known. People see it and they're like, wow, well, she's doing this. Kind of have to like calm my brain down and say, who cares? Who cares if they see it? If someone else sees it and it helps them, maybe it reaches at least one person, if that. I started posting on there. I wasn't really much of a poster, but now I kind of use it as an accountability kind of thing. It's hard to do it Monday through Friday, but I just kind of do it on the weekends. And there's a lot of people that I've met on there. They've been on this journey longer, and it's awesome to see because we have a group of ladies that go live. I think I kind of share the live with you. They do panels, which is really good, and they kind of like see how you're doing, what injection sites are best for them, what has worked for them, emotional things that we go through on this journey that we kind of pep each other up. But I think that's about it about me. I've had PCOS. I haven't had issues about shortage or anything like that.
Good.
I've done Herbalife before. That kind of didn't work for me. But I think that was because I had the diabetes and all of that. I think my highest weight was about 320 if I look at the pictures. And then whenever I started on Mounjaro, my highest weight was 303. So then I got down to 260, and that's where I've kind of maintained right now. So it's been a journey, and it's kind of like a learning experience because you kind of want to see how your body reacts to everything. My arms weren't the best for me. My stomach and my thighs were.
It's funny you're bringing that up because I really want to try arm, but I'm scared to. I've seen so many people doing it, and I'm like, someday that will be me.
But then some people, they're like, yeah, the thigh didn't do anything for me, but I feel like more suppressed whenever I'm in my thigh.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw one person say that the thigh hurt and they weren't going to do that again. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to do that either. I want to try them, but I'm scared. I did see a video on TikTok from someone who said that they were a doctor and they were talking about how every person has a different experience where they do their shot. That for some people, there's less side effects if they do it in the arm, or there's less side effects if they do it in the stomach, or there's better food suppression if they do it in one of those spots, and that it's different for every person because our bodies are just all different. So I thought that was very interesting. And I'm curious, but stomach's working pretty well for me right now still. And then I saw someone else talking about scar tissue. If you keep doing it in the same spot, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
I change mine every week. They said something about stretch marks.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too. I'm not sure why. I've got to do some research on that because I'm curious. I will say that I don't feel it at all in my stomach. I did feel it last week, and I did it in a stretch mark accidentally. So I don't know. Maybe it's because your skin is thicker. Like, when you get a scar. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up. Don't quote me. You had mentioned people being afraid of getting rid of their larger clothes. I can't tell you how many times I lost weight and was like, never again. Got rid of all my clothes and then gained like double back. And I was like, dang it.
I was recently at the store and I had bought a few like workout outfits, but I didn't buy any regular clothes because I was just like, I'm gonna lose more weight. My goal is to lose more weight. I was in a 24 to a 22. I tried a pair of 18s and they fit, and I'm just like, okay. And my mother-in-law was like, why didn't you buy them? I said, because I'm gonna lose more weight and these are gonna fit loose.
Well, that's the difference with the GLP-1, right? It treats the metabolic issue and you stay on it and then you don't have any issues with.
Yeah. Or people are in maintenance. I'm not
Exactly.
going to be
Yeah.
in maintenance for a long time, but I know I'm going to be on this medication forever for the diabetes.
I was going to ask you next if you felt like your taste buds had changed at all.
I don't feel like I have a sweet tooth anymore. And it's kind of funny because I tried the Barbell's protein bar, and that's kind of like a Snickers bar. And I was just like, whenever I ate it, I was like, I cannot eat the whole thing because it was just too sweet. And I was like, I've always been a sweet tooth person, and now I'm not.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should be making healthy choices where they can. I mean, it's absolutely we should be moving more, but that has never been, or in extremely small cases, has that actually been a permanent solution for anyone with the disease of obesity. I think 95% of people that lose weight gain it back within the first 5 years, or at least up to 80% of it within the first 5 years, and then more after that. And that's from diet and exercise alone. And then even people with gastric bypass surgeries, a lot of the time end up just gaining it back. They lose weight initially, but then they end up gaining it back, which is just physically traumatizing. That's awful. And emotionally, I'm sure. So, what's your biggest non-scale victory then?
I would say I think I had like a turning point. You know how like people say that this is what made them start losing the weight, or this is the moment where they were like, I don't want to be like this anymore. Kind of like flips the switch. I was a week prior trying to go into the gym and stuff like that. I hadn't been to Disney in years, like maybe 10 years or so, or maybe less than that. I was literally gassed out from going one side of the park to the other. So, me being gassed out at Disney was just like a low point for me. We're only a couple hours into Disney and I'm gassed out. And I was just like, this needs to change. And I kind of use that picture of reference because I was just like, that was the week before I went to the doctor. You can actually see that like my double chin was like a tension there, and it's gotten less. You can see the difference from now to then. I went to Disney, I want to say last weekend, and we actually went to two parks. I got to 20,000 steps there. I was tired, but I wasn't gassed out like I was before.
Well, good for you.
I always try to hurry to get to point A to point B because it's just easier to like walk a little faster and then get to that place and then I can rest. I actually work as a nurse.
I knew it. I don't know if you told me that before, but you saying you're rushing everywhere, I was like, definitely a nurse here.
I work Monday through Friday now, and it's desk, but you still have to go around and stuff. There's not enough hours in the day for nursing. You have to get stuff done by the end of it. And it's rewarding, but at the same time it's like I'm taking care of these people that they have all these comorbidities and I'm over here not taking care of myself. I was just like I need to get back on track. My labs weren't too horrible whenever I went. It was just like the A1C. Nothing about my lipid panel or anything came back because they do have a concern about your lipid panel being elevated whenever you're diabetic. So nothing came about that, but my liver enzymes were high, which is being overweight.
Okay, so you had your lipid panel.
The lipid panel was good, but my liver enzymes, they were high. They always kind of said, well, you're overweight, that contributes to fatty liver. They kind of said just lose weight and probably come down. But whenever I went to go get my redraw I went to the dermatologist and they were back to normal. And that had been, I think, only a month on Mounjaro. So I think losing the weight kind of helped get that back to normal. Whenever I went back for new labs, everything was within range. Like my blood glucose was fine. My A1C was a little bit high, but it was better than it was before.
What was it, if you don't mind me asking? Your A1C when you went back.
Whenever I went back, it was 6.8.
That's amazing. Yeah, but that's so much better.
Yeah, it's so much better than what it was before. I also want to say, like, some people, they still don't change how they eat, and sometimes that kind of doesn't help either. I did I did a 360 because I started taking the medication, I started going to the gym. I totally changed what I was eating. I seen progress, and it wasn't big progress, but I still seen a progression. where I'm able to walk more than a mile because it usually took me like 20 minutes to do a mile on Saturdays and Sundays whenever I have time. I go to the lake and I actually walk 4 miles. It does take me a bit of time, but it's something that kind of helps me mentally just walk because it's just like the lake, you can see everything around, and it's just, I couldn't imagine being like, oh yeah, you went to the lake and you did 4 miles. I would have said, no, no, the fuck I didn't. I just did a mile and that was it. And I was tired after that. But if I would have asked myself, the younger me that I did that, I would have said, no way, you're still at home watching a movie, doing nothing.
Oh,
Kind of a different norm where I would just sit at home or do whatever I wanted or eat before. And it's not like that. It's more like I kind of disciplined myself. Okay, we have to kind of do these things in order to keep moving.
would you say that using a GLP-1 helped you make a lot of those changes? I know you said you had a gym membership and you started going the week before you had started using the GLP-1, right?
Yes. I think it was everything all it's in itself, but it's also aided it like it's a tool and I don't use it as like a crutch. I don't say like, okay, yes, this is the reason why I'm losing the weight. No, because I am putting in the work too, because I am going to the gym, I am eating better, I am trying to better myself, not only with the GLP-1, it's just kind of like a tool and it's not like the band-aid that fixes all because I could just eat how I regularly eat and then I would still be the same. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I would lose some of the weight, but it's still for the better.
So I think what I'm trying to say is if you had never started using the GLP-1, do you think that you would have been capable of making those dietary and lifestyle choices to get you where you are now?
I think I could have maybe for like 2 weeks and then I would have reverted back and said, this is hard and I'm just going to be fat all my life. And that's sad to say, but I think this has helped a lot. And I think this is going to be a continuing thing that I do. And I think in the long run, it's beneficial because I see a lot of people say it's going to benefit you in the long run. Yes, we don't really know how this is going to pan out. It may be that you lose all your weight or you gain a little bit of weight, but at least you're not at that 300 mark where you were before. And I kind of have to think that I'm better off than I was whenever I started.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone has their own normal body weight. So, like, I'm sure that you've seen people throughout the community. Some people are in maintenance at a higher weight, and everyone has their own
Yeah.
just normal body. I've got one of my very best friends is she's either almost 400 pounds or she is over 400 pounds now. She is not diabetic and she cannot get GLP-1s. And she is at the point where she can't exercise. She can't do anything because she keeps injuring herself. Like she sprained her ankle or she threw her back out. Like she just can't do it. And she's got PCOS, which is insulin resistance, right? No matter what she's done her whole life, she can't lose the weight. It's incredible how this medication is yes, it's a tool. If she doesn't use GLP-1s or get gastric bypass surgery, then she can't exercise. You know what I mean? Like she can't physically do it. And she tried to get gastric bypass surgery and they made her go on GLP-1s and she did see some success. But she was paying $600 a month. That bumped up to that just kept going up. So yeah, she had to get off of it. She's trying to get back on, but it's like a nightmare
Yeah.
with this insurance not wanting to pay for it and she doesn't have diabetes, so they won't give it to her. Like, how much does someone need to be crying for help? It's so sad. It's just unbelievable. So I don't know how I feel about saying that it's a tool because it's life-saving for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Especially like on the podcast, I'm interviewing people like Carrie Lee Parker Mast was the
Hmm.
last episode. Her story is incredible. And she was dying, she was getting ready to die.
Yeah.
And two years later, she's 180 pounds and she can actually exercise where she couldn't exercise before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's a tool, but it's like life-saving medication. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about the phrase it's a tool. I know it is. I know it is, but it's life-saving medication that treats a chronic and deadly vicious disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, sorry. I just went on a spiel.
No, you're good. And it all depends how you see it too. It may be different for everyone, but I just kind of don't want to belittle my efforts as well. So I kind of use it as a tool. And I don't mean anything by saying it's a tool because it is life-saving medication. It has saved,
Oh.
you may not see it now or you may not see it, but it's basically adding maybe years to your life that you didn't have whenever you were before you started taking this medication. You may not see that you're adding a year onto your life or 10 years, or you may, like I said, I thought I could still die. You can die from anything. I was trying to push myself to make sure that I was getting the help that I needed to get on this GLP-1, actually take it serious and actually put in the efforts to actually do it. So that's kind of why I said you're going to die before you're 30 if you don't do anything. But that was just kind of to push myself because I felt like if I didn't, then I wasn't going to do it. And whenever I would tell people that, they're like, you're very morbid. And I said, well, I need to do something about it. But it's true. If I didn't help myself, then I could potentially be ending my life sooner than.
And I just want to make sure that you know that not everyone, just because they've used a GLP-1, is jumping off the couch and going to the gym.
Yeah. Some people don't even go to the gym or they don't.
Now you can. Some people can where they could never do it before. But yeah, no, please don't feel like I'm belittling
No,
your
no, no, no,
efforts
I'm just
because
saying that's kind
you're
of like,
right. You made the diet choices and you're the one driving yourself to the gym or walking to it or however you get there, whatever. You're the one who is mentally driving yourself to the gym to work out. You're the one who is making those sustainable, healthy lifestyle choices that everyone needs. Really, everyone needs. I think that's incredible, and you should be so proud of yourself.
and you can't do it for other people because I did have a gym partner before, but I had to be the one that had to be like, yeah, you have to go. You may feel like you don't fit into the gym. You may feel like people are looking at you, but it's okay because it may be all in your head, but at least you're going, at least you're doing it. I was a person that just was at the treadmills and there's all this other exercise stuff. And now I go in and I just do my thing and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna drift off into these other big machines where I was just in, they're in rows, the actual like machines, or there's free weights. And now I can go to the free weights and be like, okay, I'm okay with doing it. And I don't feel like I look ridiculous doing it. It's more of this medication has also helped build the confidence where I'm just like, yes, I didn't care what people thought before, but this is for me. I'm doing it for me and not for anyone else.
And that's what I was going to say too. So, your efforts to go to the gym, your efforts to make healthier choices, you also made the effort to treat your medical condition. And that is just as impressive. And I think that you're an extraordinary human being. And I think you're right. Your journey doesn't end here. You've got a long ways to go. And I think that you're going to be living a long and healthy life now. And good for you for doing all the hard work to get there.
Thank you for having this and hosting this because we may not have a voice for everyone, but at least people are getting out there. And that kind of encouraged me to come on here. I may have like a plain Jane story, but it may encourage others to share and speak out about their journey. And that may reach other people and that may save some of them too, as well. Not saying saving, but maybe help them get on the right track or access to a GLP-1. And maybe one day we'll look back and say, oh, this is the reason why we got access to GLP-1s for everyone, because now they're talking about taking away access and stuff like that. So I feel for everyone who, if they do close off access, how are people going to resource it, or are they going to start selling it on the streets and compound their own stuff? And then that becomes very unsafe for people. And it's kind of like the opioid epidemic where they're lacing things and stuff like that. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. When I reached out to you, or did you reach out to me? And you said that you'd listen to the podcast.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
And I
started.
was like, oh, you can come on it. And you're like, no, I'm not that interesting. And I'm like, you're the kind of person I want to talk to then. If you think you're not interesting, because no, you don't have a plain Jane story. You have an incredible story. And
But not like everyone else. Like everyone else has very interesting stories, and I'm just like, wow, like you went through all of that, and I'm over here. I could have done this sooner, but I was reluctant in doing all of this because I was in denial, and it's sad because I could have had access sooner, and I didn't do it, but it's a hard lesson I have to learn. No, I can't go back in time and say, shake my young self and be like, why didn't you do this? It is what it is, and we have to just move forward. That's why I kind of not advocate, but like I'm more voiceful on TikTok. So maybe someone that isn't on a GLP-1 sees, oh, she's had a lot of progress. What is she doing? And I have people at work that ask me, oh, what am I doing? And I kind of mumble it because like I'm kind of scared like that they're like, oh, you're on that medication. And I'm just like, no, I'm diabetic. I'm on Mounjaro, but I still go to the gym and I still work out and I eat better than I was before. Sorry, my face is
you're okay.
crying right now. I don't know why.
Oh, dear.
Um,
Oh, my little treasure.
but but now I'm like, I'm okay with telling them, yes, I'm on Mounjaro and it's helped and the food noises, and people may look at me crazy, but I'm just like, something that happens where people are like constantly thinking about food and you didn't know what it was before until you come on this medication. Some people are like, oh, okay, like, and I said it's something that I do, and then I kind of like go off because I'm like kind of like the awkward kid that was like, okay, this is what I'm on, and I'm just kind of leaving. But if I can help anyone and if they need to reach out and ever want to think about starting it, I would say do it. The worst that can happen is you start it and you come off of it. Once you start, you'll see some of the benefits. It may not be instantly, but if you stick with it, it's definitely worth it.
Well, I will say I had so much fun talking with you. You told me that bit, and I'm like, oh, I have so many more questions. I'm going to let you go before we get crazy.
Yes. All right. Yes.
Thank you so much. I am so glad you came on, and your story is so relatable. And that's what people need to hear. They need to hear, oh, her story sounds like mine. You know what I mean? And oh,
Yeah.
it worked for her. Maybe I should try it.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, there are amazing advocacy stories out there, but who can relate to that? Kim Carlos's amazing story. Who can relate?
I'm just like, yeah. And then like some of them, they just have you bawling and you're just like, I didn't go through it, but I felt like I went through it with you.
Yeah, the relatable ones, those are the ones that really get people because they can feel that. So I'm just really grateful for you. Thank you, my treasure. I hope that I'll see you at the next support group. If
Yes.
not, then I hope you're living your best life.
Yes, I'll still see you on TikTok and I enjoy your workout videos.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you should join in. I'm about to post one that I didn't get to yesterday. It's Sabrina's arm challenge.
Okay. I wanted to start it, but I didn't start it, but maybe I will. It's a little late, but
Check out this video because I'm doing it with my teenager.
okay, gotcha. I'll watch it.
All right, I'll see you later. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye, Liz.
Bye.